Imagine getting up every day full of energy as if you were in your 20s again. What would that be like? What would it be worth to you? What is your health worth to you? Think about it. Your health isn't everything, but without it, everything else is nothing. And yet, too many of us are taking it for granted until something goes wrong. And no one wakes up hoping to be diagnosed with a disease or chronic illness. And yet, we've never been taught how to be proactive in our health through our school or public health. As a registered health coach and integrative health practitioner, I believe it's time this information is made available to everyone. Combining new knowledge around your health and the ability to do my functional medicine lab tests in the comfort of your own home will allow you to optimize your health for today and all your tomorrows. Don't wait for your wake-up call. Welcome back to another episode of the Don't Wait for Your Wake-Up Call podcast. I am Melissa Deely, your host, and I am so excited today to bring you a guest who is near and dear to my heart. Somebody who I've worked with on Zoom for 2 years and only got to meet in person just about 10 days ago, which was super exciting. So welcome, Colleen.
Hi, Melissa. I'm so happy to be here on your podcast. I'm so proud of you. This is awesome.
I'm so happy to have you here and want to introduce you to the audience. Colleen is not only my business coach, but she is an award-winning business coach who empowers successful women leaders to create a bigger impact by leaning into their fullest purpose to reach their peak potential so they can inspire change in others, build unlimited success, and leave a legacy behind. How amazing is that? I absolutely adore working with Colleen, and I'm not going to read the rest of your bio because it's super long. I would rather have you share in your story how you came into the place where you're at today, bearing in mind the theme of this month is mindset. And I know that's something that is very near and dear to your heart in your coaching practice.
Yeah. Belief is where it all starts, doesn't it, Melissa? What we believe in ourselves, who we believe we are to be, how we believe life is every day when we wake up. That's what really makes a difference in our world. So probably like day after day, week after week, year after year, it just kept getting worse in corporate America. And I was missing something. I wasn't happy. I had been in corporate America for almost 30 years at that point. And I knew that there was more for me to do, but I didn't know what that was that I needed to do, right? And I loved working with the business owners that I had the pleasure of working with and helping them launch their businesses. So in this world over here, I was having there's the greatest time helping them scale their businesses, launch their businesses, accelerate their businesses. And then over here in the corporate office, it was like the good old boys club, and sometimes I was told not to speak up in meetings or, I've been working my way up the corporate ladder. And I just felt like I wasn't able to fully expand my influence and fully, like, the first time I'm ever saying this is on your show, fully spread my wings to be who I thought I needed to be. And I was holding myself back, but it was scary. It was super scary to think to go from corporate America to being an entrepreneur where I'm going to be responsible for making every dime versus having a paycheck. And when we are being paid what we're worth in corporate America, and then you move and you shift, you have an identity crisis that happens when you become this entrepreneur. So mindset is so crucial to work on every day because you don't wake up in a good mood, totally full of motivation and inspiration. And yes, I made zero money yesterday, but today I'm going to make all the money in the world, and it's, you've got to work on it. So I wake up every single morning and I read and I meditate and I do gratitudes. And all of this has become practices of mine from when I felt like I hit rock bottom. And most people would think, why would you have hit rock bottom coming out of corporate America? Isn't that like when you're just soaring and flying and doing your own business? But I had an identity crisis for a while. And I was, really trying to figure myself out. And so I used a lot of the meditation tactics, the mindset tactics, the gratitude tactics. Every day I put these in place. And every day I got stronger and stronger and stronger. It's like flexing a muscle, in your body. And I got stronger to the point where most days I feel, positive and ready to face the world. I feel confident. I know what I'm capable of, but it takes a process to get to that place.
It absolutely does. And something that I would love you to share, because I know I've learned it from you, it's also why I reached out to you, is that this isn't something that we do alone in a silo.
No.
This is something where it's really important to also be cognizant of the people we surround ourselves with and getting the right support and mentorship.
Yeah. So I would ask your listeners just for them to think of, 2 or 3 people right now that they hang around with. And are those 2 or 3 people that you hang out with on a regular basis, whether it be online, in a networking group, whether it be friends, are they a positive influence in your life? Most people are probably thinking like, oh, well, maybe Cindy isn't as positive as I'd like her to be. Or, every time I get together with her, she complains and complains and complains. I had to slowly but surely move myself away from the negativity. Even people in my own family, I've had to put, the arm's length down because I couldn't take any more of the negativity. I work with a lot of women entrepreneurs in launching and scaling their businesses. And it's so heart-wrenching to me when their own spouses or significant others or family members don't support them in their endeavor. And it's hard. It's very hard on them.
It is very hard on them. And something that might help be a little bit of a mindset shift for people or give them a little bit of understanding around that is 2 things that I've learned on my journey is that, one, it's very often coming from a place of love. They don't want to see you fail. They don't want to see you be hurt. They don't want to see your dreams be dashed. And so from their perspective, they're trying to protect you from that. And so encouraging you not to start or not supporting you is their way of trying to protect you from those possible outcomes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's such a shame because it's also reflective of their thoughts about themselves. They couldn't do whatever it is that you're trying to do. And so because they can't do it, they think you can't do it. But they don't have the same passion, drive, focus. They don't have the same education, skill set, et cetera, connections that you have. And so that's something else that I think is really important for people to understand is when others are telling you you can't do something, it's literally a reflection of their belief about themselves, not actually their belief about you.
Yeah, it's their fear. And as we grow, picture like an onion, right? As we grow and as we flourish, and like I talked about spreading my wings, we kind of break off these layers on the outside of us that maybe kept us safe or kept us from being hurt or kept us from, having that negativity. And that was our safe space, right? But as we expand and grow, we drop these layers. And our friends and family and people around us hold on to those layers because, like you said, they're not ready to change and they fear the change. And so they just grasp onto those layers. And we have to realize that those are old layers of who you were. I look at myself now, Melissa, and if I were to go back to 2019 or 2018 when I left corporate America, I'm not even close to the same person. And I think back to the conversations I had in corporate America, what I put up with, it would look way different today because I feel like I've come into myself. I feel like I've worked on my mindset. I put myself first, and that's not in a selfish way, but in a way where, the airlines say to put your mask on first. It's a way that we're able to serve others and make a greater impact is by serving ourselves first. So we have to, I don't know about you, but let's just talk about real quick. Your network is your net worth, right? I want someone to think about that. How can my network of the people I hang out with become my net worth? Well, are you hanging out with people that are successful, that where you want to be? Are you hanging out with people that are collaborative and they want to collaborate and not compete with other people? Are you hanging out with others that invite you into circles and rooms and events that are going to give you more exposure? So when you start adding all this up, hanging around people that motivate and inspire you is one level, but it's not enough because it's temporary. You know, the people that go to conference after conference after conference after conference because they just want to be motivated, and then they leave the conference and then they do nothing with the information or apply it. Then they just get down on themselves again until the next conference. Then they go there and they get motivated again. It's what we do with the information after we receive it. So when you're surrounding yourself with people that are motivated and inspired and successful and want success for you and are motivating and holding you accountable, that's where your net worth comes in, because now you take that information, you apply it, and you actually build your business from there. Or relationships, maybe it's relationships that you're building, or, you know, becoming a better mom, or whatever it is that you're working on in your life. It's like we could go down the health road for hours, because you know how much health is part of my life. Our mindset will dictate how we see the world and how we see ourselves. That's how powerful it is. So just want everyone listening to remember that how you see yourself, your mindset will be exactly how you see the world. It is your reality. It is that powerful.
It truly is that powerful. And a couple of things that you've shared there, I like to always say you are the culmination of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So exactly what you're saying, but just stop and think about, who are those 5 people? And are they supporting you in the way that Colleen was talking about? Or are they pulling you down and holding you back? And then also mentioning that our mindset impacts all the areas of our life, right? So the key areas being career, finances, relationships, health, and I can't think of the other one right now. Is it coming to you?
Physical? I don't know.
So, you know, all of these areas, our mindset is impacting, right? And our mindset can actually be different in those different areas. But where we really are able to surge forward in life and be successful and be the person that we truly want to be is when they're all in alignment. Mm-hmm. And so it's looking at those areas of your life. Do you have a positive mindset in all of those areas? Do you have the belief that you can do whatever it is that you want to do? Because that belief is leading to your thoughts and your linguistics, the words you're using, the words you're saying to yourself inside your head, which I talk about all the time on this show. That leads to your actions, and that leads to your results. So I know that you have many, many favorite quotes, but I just want to share my favorite one, and you'll hear it all through this series, is that whether you believe you can, or actually it's think, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right, by Henry Ford. Mm-hmm. So simple, but so true. If you approach anything thinking that you can't, what's your outcome going to be?
Yeah, it's absolutely my favorite quote. I use it on many things, presentations that I do. It truly is just that easy. It really is. It is, you know, I watched a movie one time where this gentleman, he was in a psych ward, and they got him to believe that he was the president of the United States and he was being protected. So then from that moment forward, everything that he saw became validating. Remember, we must validate what we believe. So everything was validating to him that he was the president of the United States, and every person you talked to and everything that he did, there was no way anyone could talk him out of it. And we have to believe in ourselves so strongly with that belief. Someone asked me, Melissa, on a podcast, they said, what would you do if you think you couldn't fail? Mm-hmm. They caught me off guard, because I don't think I can fail, but not in an arrogant, egotistical way. But I believe failure is our own perception of what we believe failure is. And I built this business on failure. Everything I've done, being the mom I am today, was built on all my failures as a mom, right? So I look at all these things that I had to learn to know which path to shift to and how to pause and what to do to be able to be the business person I am today, be the friend I am today, be the mom I am today. And so I responded to them and I said, I am doing what I would do if I didn't think I could fail, because I don't think I can fail, because it's really in the eye of the beholder of what failure looks like. And for me, it's the building blocks on how I've built everything in my entire life. And they were like, wow, that's a different perspective. And I just thought, that's what I believe. It truly is what I believe. And so we have to believe in ourselves, number one, first, because, you say a lot, your health is your true wealth. And so that's, it starts in, the mental, right? The emotional, and then in your physical body. I was just talking with someone on the phone earlier, and their wife has experienced all these physical traumas, and the doctors can't find anything wrong. And I was like, does your wife meditate? Does she do yoga? Does she, right? Because if the medical doctors aren't finding anything, what does that tell you? Our mindset create physical ailments within our body based on our belief. And so people that believe they're sick all the time are sick all the time. They literally are sick all the time. That's how strong mindset is.
That is literally how strong mindset is. And people who believe they can't heal won't heal. Right. And so that's why it's so important to me when I'm working with people that I have to believe that I can guide them on their healing journey, so the body will come back into balance and heal itself. And then they take on my belief to get started, and then they see results, and then they have their own belief, because belief is just that powerful, as you say.
Yeah. That's why I'm so glad that, you do the testing, the lab testing, because as humans, we're so inquisitive and we want to know what's happening. So physically on the outside, I can tell how much fat's on my body. I can tell if I have a scratch. I can tell if I'm bruising easily, right? I can tell physically on the outside what's happening with my body, if my skin is dry or oily. But what I can't see is what's happening on the inside of my body, because the only way to do that is through those tests. And that's what I appreciated about those, because health is so crucial, that if we don't have our health and we're allowing things in our body to get, off balance, or maybe we're eating things, weekly that we don't realize we're allergic to, and it's causing some other ailments in our body. I loved having those so I could kind of have this microscopic view of the inside of my body as well as the outside of my body, so that I knew that they were in balance. And yeah, our bodies truly will heal themselves and take care of themselves and get back in balance. But with the world and how it's created today, we were just talking about me being in Vegas, on a stamp for supporting my husband in a conference, and how I don't want to leave my hotel room because it's disgusting everywhere you walk in Vegas. There's just like secondhand smoke everywhere, and it's stuck in my hair. But I have to breathe that. And, I've seen a lot of people pass away because a spouse smoked or something like that, right? So it's not that I'm doing it to my body on purpose and I'm the one doing it. It's just being in physical, surroundings with other things that are happening in our environment. Like you talk about with all your food health hacks and everything that's happening, we're not getting the nutrients that we used to get. And the air's not even as clean as it used to be that we're breathing. And so we have to administer and take some other additional steps to create a healthier lifestyle for ourselves. And that's just, again, part of the mindset. Your health is huge in mindset of your belief of what you can accomplish. You and I both work out, so it's mental to get through a workout. Just like runners, they say your physical body will not give in before your mental will give in first. Your physical body could go a lot longer than what your mental capacity would break down first. So anyone who does, Ironmans or marathons, you have to go through, and maybe because I was in Taekwondo, this is why I did it. You have to go through a lot of mental training to keep pushing through and persevere. That's one of the biggest pieces. And when you can dial that in, then really you truly become unstoppable. You do.
Absolutely. And I agree that sports is a place where very often we first start to learn that mindset as young children, right? When we have coaches and they're, we're training on an ongoing basis, and the coaches are teaching us to, try that little bit extra harder because they believe in us and we don't yet know what we can do. And an interesting story that happened to me when I was 12 years old around that, actually, I was a swimmer. And I love swimming. I trained really hard. I trained 10 times a week. I was a very good swimmer. And I was living in Japan at the time. We were competing against other international schools in Japan. And then twice a year, kids from the Philippines and Hong Kong and Malaysia and other international schools in Southeast Asia would come and compete against us. And one year, another 12-year-old girl, I don't remember where she was from, but she stood about a foot taller than me at the time, came and she beat me in every race. But here was the thing, is I didn't want to be beaten. And so by her being ahead of me in every single race, it got me to push harder to try to keep up to this person who was now challenging me. And she still beat me in every race. But do you know how much time I took off my best times by racing against her that I didn't know I could do until someone else challenged me? And my coach told me, don't worry about her beating you. Try and beat her. Don't give up. Try and beat her. And that helped me break through. It's kind of like that 4-minute mile thing, right? Where everybody thought a human being can't run that fast. And then one person breaks it and then everyone can break it.
Yeah.
It all comes down to that mindset.
Yeah. And it's, we're capable of so much more than we believe we're capable of. Yes. And so that goes back to surrounding yourself with the people that believe it too, because they will remind you of it. They'll hold the space for you. They'll be the strength for you until you believe in yourself again. Because let's face it, we're not all 10s every day, or feel a 10 every single day. There's some days where maybe overwhelm, sinks in, or you're feeling like you've got a lot to do. And as much as you're trying to keep that, attitude of gratitude and how much time you have that day to be able to get everything done, you're still feeling a little, uptight or nervous. So because we know that we're going to have these days where we're not always a 10, by surrounding yourself with people where you can just open up and say, I'm struggling today. I don't know why I'm feeling this way, but I'm feeling like weaker, or I'm feeling, that I'm not going to be the best speaker I need to be on Friday, and I feel like I'm missing something and I'm just not feeling it. I'm not feeling that positivity, and they can remind you of what they need to remind you of in that moment to get you right back to your belief in yourself again. And it's just so crucial that we are not only reading, every single day books that will spark mindset and will spark positivity for us, but the surrounding, people having the attitude of gratitude and not just being thankful, but practicing gratitude is a whole different level. They're key.
And yeah, I just want to say, like, my experience working with you has been all about that, because as I said earlier, you can't do it alone. So seek out people that can support you. And I know to the bottom of my core, you have my back. And so when I start to feel low, or as everybody does, I can just lift myself back up with that thought, right? We let ourselves down, but we don't let other people down. So if I'm feeling low, I'm like, but Colleen knows I can do it, so I can do it, right? I know I can do it. She's believing in me. I can do this. And then having a whole tribe of people whom I've met through you, through your Leap for Ladies organization, and your incredible desire to showcase everyone in the community and let them shine. We've all built such incredible relationships of collaboration, as you mentioned, of supporting each other and coming together and cheering each other on. And that is such a wonderful place to be, to have an organization like that, where, as you said, there is no competition.
Right.
Where we all believe there's enough clients for all of us, no matter the overlap in our work, because every single person struggling with their health isn't going to want to work with me. They might want to work with the next person or the next person or the next person. But there's enough people that want to work with me that we don't have to get in each other's way.
Yeah.
We can support each other and cheer each other on. And I'm so grateful for that. And I really encourage all of the listeners to consider, who is your tribe? because I absolutely love my tribe of people, many of whom I've met through you. And I do have a few other tribes, which is awesome as well. You don't have to have just one tribe, but have those tribes of people, create those tribes around you, join an organization that just gives you a tribe, which is basically what I did when I joined you. And that has been so amazing because we can't do it alone. We shouldn't do it alone. And I heard a saying that says fierce independence equals being broke. We need to be interdependent. We need to understand what is our superpower that we bring to the group and align that with everyone else's superpower. Yeah. But particularly in the Western world, we are raised to be independent. And I know that I had a belief in my younger years that I did have to do it all on my own. And even through my years in the corporate world, that was really fueled. And so it's been a whole new learning to realize I don't need to do it all on my own. And I'm actually better when I'm collaborating with others, when I come to the circle in that interdependent role, and we all rise up together. And that's what I so appreciate about you and your coaching and what you offer to people. And yes, as a business coach, that's incredible, but people can also look for that through mentors in other areas of their lives as well, in Absolutely. Relationship coaches and health coaches and financial coaches, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you mentioned reading mindset books. So I'd love it if you could recommend a couple of books to the audience that they might like to read if this is a topic they'd like to step further into.
I think first and foremost, Napoleon Hill wrote one of the best books that probably any successful person has read, which is Think and Grow Rich. It is, to me, the book is solely about mindset and what we feed our minds and the auto suggestion every day of what we tell ourselves and how that can change our future, our declarations of what we believe in. So again, belief plays a huge role in Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and you can find that anywhere. We've read that in our book club, and because I believe in personal development for individuals, our businesses only grow to the extent that we do, and those are directly related to our success in our business. The other one is The Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, one of my favorite books by T. Harv Eker. And he used to do seminars all around the world every year until COVID hit. And my husband and I were in COVID when I finally found the book. And I just remember driving our trailer to go on a trip. And both of us were, putting our hands over our hearts, putting our fingers up to our minds and repeating these declarations that he has in the book. So it's very entertaining. But, the one piece I got out of that in the very beginning of the book was he said, you just don't know what you don't know. It's not that you're incapable. You just don't know something. But then once you learn it, watch out, right? So instead of getting down on ourselves, like I'm not capable of building a successful business, the truth is everybody is capable of doing it. You just have to learn something that you don't know. That's all it comes down to.
There's still a missing piece, the gap in your knowledge. Yeah.
And for me, the last one, I love Jen Sincero. She's got a whole slew of books on how to be a badass making money, how to be a badass in, every day, how to be a badass just from the beginning. And her philosophy is just really about your belief in yourself, right? And mindset has everything to do with that. Just like Marie Forleo's Everything is Figure Outable. That was another fun book that we read.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Just think of the title of it. Everything is figure outable. So when you come to a hurdle, you run into a brick wall, what are you going to do to get around it? Everything is figure outable. This can be figured out. So if you don't have a solution today, don't fret. Just who do you need to ask? Who do you need to talk to? What do you need to learn? Where do you need to go to figure it out? Figure it out and then move forward through it, right? Don't let it numb you and don't isolate yourself and don't, go in depression because you haven't been able to figure it out. That's what I love about having tribes of people that surround you and people that you trust and collaborate with on a regular basis, because we all know when one flashlight is shining in a forest, That's all you can see is one flashlight. And if you were trying to get 100 people through a dark forest, there'd be a lot of people falling, a lot of scrapes, a lot of bruises. But if everyone had a flashlight and they were all able to shine them as bright as they possibly could, A, you'd see it from outer space, but B, everyone would get through safely. So that's what collaboration and surrounding yourself with tribes of people are about, because it's proven, research after research after research, trying to do things alone and isolating yourself, it literally takes years off your life. Babies, if they're left alone, will die. They will die. That's just, the truth of the matter is. So why isolate yourself in business and do it alone when you can get a mentor, a sponsor, a coach, a tribe of people? There's so many opportunities for us to have people surrounding us that reinforces this positive mindset, in addition to the reading that we do every day.
And I love all that you've shared there, and just want to say two things to that. When you were talking about don't give up, to me, the definition of failure is quitting. Because every other step of the way where you might feel like it's failure, it's actually an opportunity to learn, as you were talking about earlier. So you live your life every day as if you couldn't fail, because you can't fail when you look at it as an opportunity to learn. So the only way to fail is to quit. But you also mentioned the brick wall. And I love that you did, because recently when we were together, you introduced me to a book and a lecture called The Last Lecture by Randy Pausch. And he mentioned the brick wall several times through. And I've heard this before, but it was just a great reminder that the brick wall is showing up in your life to ask how bad you want it. It's not there to stop you. It's just asking you, how badly do I want this? And sometimes it might be that you're on one path and the brick wall is creating that fork, because when you take the time to figure it out, you end up in a different direction than where you thought you were going, but you just had to stop in that time to figure that out. And so that inward reflection too, you were referring to meditation earlier, all of that is such a big part of this journey into mastering our mindset.
Yeah, we can't be go, go, go every second, right? If we're just going and going and going and using our head bubble, then we're never really stopping and listening to have a prayer answered or for the universe to deliver something to you, right? We're just go, 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 go. So I find that when I'm able to quiet myself down and spend that time just asking, especially if I am feeling a little anxious or am feeling like I'm trusting and I'm doing the things I'm supposed to do, but maybe the money isn't coming as fast as I wanted it to, or things aren't aligning the way I think they should align. And we're not really looking at it from a different perspective of what blessings were being delivered in a package that just didn't look like we thought it would look like, right? And so I trust so much that I'm supposed to be on this path to give women the visibility for their voices to be heard, for them to be seen, for them to expand their influence, to step up as leaders in their families, in their communities, in their businesses, that I know things will be provided for me. And I just have this comfort to know that the right people show up at the right time that need to work with me, and I can get out there and hustle, 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 and just make it hard every single day and hate what I do. And it's not exciting to me to do that. So I face every day with, I get to run this amazing business. I get to empower female entrepreneurs. I get to have a podcast. I get to interview amazing people. I get to share my message to the people that need to hear it every day. I get to do those things. I'm so thankful that this has been provided for me and I get to, versus, oh my gosh, life is happening to me every day and my life sucks. And oh my gosh, this bill's due and that bank turned me down. And then this happened and then that happened. And then before you know it, you're just in this spiral of depression and anxiety and angst and negativity. And by the way, you probably are losing friends because no one wants to hang out with you because all you do is you're just negative all the time. So think of those exact same scenarios could be happening in someone's life, but because a person looks at it as this is that brick wall. And if I want it bad enough, how do I get around it to make more money? How do I get around it to get a bank to approve me? There's not one bank on earth. There's thousands of them. What is my next move? What do I do? And I'm just, that perseverance of the never giving up. It can be tiring when you don't have support there. And if it wasn't for my master in the dojo supporting me for 3.5 years to get my black belt, I don't think I would have gotten there without that individual. That's why I know tribe, sponsors, mentors, coaches are so crucial for our development and for our success, is because just having them there supports and fuels where we're going.
Yeah. I agree 100%. And something else that I just read recently is when you were talking about, asking for things from the universe. Sometimes we're not getting what we think we want because we're not actually clear on what we're asking for. And so just getting clear on what we're asking for is critical. And that's also where we need the work of, the help of a coach, a mentor, etc. Somebody who's on the outside that can really draw that out of us, that isn't limited by the limitations we put on ourselves. Because when it's just ourselves trying to figure out what we want, it's so easy to think that, no, but I couldn't do that. And immediately we shrink what that ask is. And so getting really clear on what you want and getting help and getting clear on what you want is going to put you on the path to achieving your goals, your passions, what you're here on this earth to do. And the other piece of all of that is just simply, when we're working with somebody else, when we are trusting in our own belief that we are supported, when we surrender into it, we also release the stress. Mm-hmm. And that is a far happier, healthier place to be, where we can achieve so much more because we have more energy. Stress bogs down our energy. It's exhausting. And we're not questioning and doubting ourselves all the time. And when things happen, we can say, everything happens for a reason. Everything is figure outable, and keep moving forward, as opposed to, spending time beating ourselves up and wanting to quit, saying we're not good enough, and all of those things that stir up all of that negativity and waste energy, moving us backwards, not forwards.
Yeah, life's too short for that crap.
Exactly. I agree 100%, 150%, if there's such a thing.
Yeah. So awesome. When I think about right now, I want all the listeners, again, who are you surrounding yourself with? And Melissa and I, when we saw each other, we're both like the same height. We're super little. And so we were talking about corporate America, and we didn't get to choose who we surrounded ourselves with necessarily on projects or managers or, who we worked with back in that day. So we cannot control things outside of our control. I just want everyone to hear that. So because you can only control things within your control, focus on those things, which is yourself. You can control yourself, your mindset, how you approach every day. One of my clients I'm working with right now just started reading the book, The Magic. I recommend that to everybody for practicing gratitude. And she said, I want to thank you so much for giving me that book and asking me to read it for the next 28 days, because I already am approaching my significant other with the way I speak to him from a different perspective and gratitude. He's already responding to me differently, and our relationship has already changed for the better. And they've been together for 6 years, and things weren't looking so great. And now she said, I just can't thank you enough of how this dynamic has already changed my personal relationship. Just practicing gratitude can change your entire world, because it changes your outlook on things. Yeah.
And how you show up in the world is also what's reflected back to you, right? So that's why you change yourself. You can't change anybody else, but you change yourself, and how they respond to you starts changing. They may not even be aware of it. It's just happening. So we've talked about books. We shared the same favorite quote. Do you have any other quotes, mindset quotes that you want to share?
Just that I have these little plaques made that you can see behind Melissa, and the simple quote of "I am enough." And people just, that is such a powerful word, enough, and to say I am enough to be in this amazing relationship. I am enough to handle unlimited amounts of wealth. I am enough to run this business. I am enough to have these amazing friends. To travel the world, to say yes to that keynote speaking opportunity and not feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to give them what they need. Of course you're going to give them what they need and more. They wouldn't be hiring you. So that I am enough really is a powerful saying, to just remind ourselves every day that no matter what comes our way, we are enough. We are enough.
I love it. And thank you for the gift of that sign that I get to see every day and remind myself of that. And another area that I know you love, as do I, is music and songs. So I'd love you to share a couple of your favorite songs that really ramp up your mindset. That if you are kind of down, you just turn on the music, dance, and it shifts your mindset. So what are your current favorite go-to songs?
So a song that's been with me forever, this is going to date and age me for sure, is the Pointer Sisters. I'm so excited. Is like, I love that song when it comes on, dancing, and it just elevates your serotonin, like everything in your body, right? Your endorphins just go crazy. But when is a moment in your life when you've just felt this amazingness? We can go to that place anytime we want, and we can be in that moment. And that song brings me to that, because it takes me back to a time in my life because of a memory of when I felt awesome, right? And I love that song. So it brings me back to a time when I felt that way. Another one that I even have, I built my 3-day event off of these words last year, was this song by Carrie Underwood, and it was "I Am a Champion." She says I am the champion, and I say I am a champion just because I am, those types of things. And but she talks about how we're unstoppable, unbreakable, invincible, unshakable. And the only way we can get to that point in our lives is if we believe it's possible, right? If we believe that, yeah, you can knock me down, things are going to happen, right? A spouse might get cancer, or something might happen in your world. You might lose a child, but that doesn't need to keep you down. You can get back up, and being unshakable is just being about facing the fear and doing it anyway, right? It's knowing that things are going to happen in my life, but what is the silver lining that comes from that? And that perseverance of being unstoppable is just, really built from my mastering my mindset over the years of persevering and never giving up. Because giving up is when the quitting part is when you lose, like you said earlier, Melissa. It's the quitting that you lose. And I love, The Greatest Showman. It was just an amazing movie. And This Is Me. It just shows about all of these people that have these physical attributes that people can see. They don't look quote unquote normal like everybody else, but they're like, this is who I am. This is God created me to be. It's who I am. And I'm not going to hide anymore. I'm coming out in the open to say, accept me or not, I don't care. It's who I am. It's what makes me unique. And I just love that. And I used that in several conferences about 4 years ago when I did a presentation. I used that song, and I can just see women's faces, the way they light up when they hear that song, because it speaks to all of us in some way through our filter of what we believe in ourselves and what we are. And then Sia came out with a song called Unstoppable, and I blare that run in my car a lot, because she just talks about I don't need batteries today, right? I don't need anything special. She talks about how confident she is, how powerful she is, how unstoppable she is. And I love that because it just pumps me up, and it really makes me feel in the moment yeah, what are you complaining about over here? Something that happened, it seems so juvenile or stupid, or it has no weight on it, right? We put weight on things in our lives that we want to weigh us down. When you don't put weight on it, it doesn't have a pull on you, right? It doesn't have control over you. So as we're thinking about our mindset, what are you doing every single day to practice positive mindset. You have to practice it like you go to the gym, like you practice drinking water, like all these things that we do every day. It's a muscle and you need to flex it every day. So reading, like I talked about, the quotes that you and I talked about, the music that we love that pumps us up, that we can listen to, that is either going to make us cry in the moment because we're not as strong, or it's going to make us light up and scream at the top of our lungs and feel confident in that moment. But we get to choose every single day our belief in ourselves and what the day is going to look like. And your mindset is what your belief is for that day. So what is it going to be? And what do we get to choose?
And the support and the tools that we use to surround ourselves with. So I love all of those songs. And I have a playlist of songs that lift me up and shift my energy, shift my mindset. And if to the audience, if you don't have a playlist of songs that you love, that lift you, that you can go to, make one, because it's so easy to do. And I was thinking of you yesterday, Colleen, because you introduced me to the Sia song and Unstoppable. Love it. Didn't know she was Australian until yesterday. So that's kind of cool. And I went paddleboarding twice yesterday because I only had a really short amount of time in the morning and it was cold and it was so beautiful in the evening. I went again. But I heard that song on the radio in the 5 minutes it takes me to drive to the lake, going paddleboarding in the morning and coming home from paddleboarding in the afternoon. How amazing is that? So
it's a sign.
It's a sign. Exactly. So I love it. So love chatting with you. Could chat with you for a whole other hour now, but I just want to ask you as we wrap up the question I ask all of my guests: what does "don't wait for your wake-up call" mean to you?
It means you need to know yourself inside and out better than you know yourself today. So for me, it was working with you, knowing my numbers. I've been through every detox you've done in the last 2 years since we've met. I don't wait until physical ailments show up in my body. I'm very proactive, just like I'm proactive in my business. I'm proactive in my relationships with my kids. I don't wait for one of them to text me. I text them to say, hey, how are you doing today? Or, hey, just was thinking about you and wanted to say thank you for being such a great son-in-law or a great dad to my grandkids, whatever it may be. So for me, not waiting for the wake-up call is about being proactive with your health. And it's about taking action. We should just had a whole thing on taking action, but no one's coming, right? We have to give ourselves permission to take action on our health, to take action on everything we put in our mouth, to take action on, what we look like physically, how we take care of ourselves, if we work out, what we do. And so for me, you've really got to take action. And I've been working with you for 2 years now, like I said, and you're my health coach. I absolutely love being part of your detoxes. I feel healthy when I spend the time through the detoxes. I'm supported through it with a tribe of people doing the exact same detox as me. So I'm not out there on my own trying to, force the winds of being starving or whatever I feel in that moment. And I just want to thank you, Melissa, for you bringing information to me so that I can provide my body with what it needs to be at its optimal health, because I know that is what is going to allow me to create a bigger impact with the people I work with, to be able to be a better mom, to be the best grandma, because I'm going to live for more and more years, because you and I are planning on living to like 103 at least. So anyone wants to come to our birthday party at 100, just come, because that's where we'll be.
That's right. I love that. I love that you have those same goals, that you really are proactive in your health, because you get it that without your health, you can't do everything else it is that you are wanting to achieve on this earth. You need good energy, which comes from vibrant health, to be able to achieve that. So I love that you're not waiting for your wake-up call, and you like knowing what your numbers are and running your labs every year, etc., so that you can stay on top of it. And when the body gets a little bit out of balance, it's so much easier to bring it back into balance than if it's way out of balance with a whole bunch of chronic illness diagnoses. So if the audience would like to get a hold of you, please share how they can get a hold of you. And I know that you're offering also a free ticket to someone to join your Take the Leap Lunch and Learn.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
This episode comes out October 8th. So the one after that is November 3rd. So people might want to mark that in their calendar. And if you want to share a little bit about that too, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so the best way to find me on all social media channels, you can find me as Colleen Biggs, and I'm the girl in the blue shirt and the white pants, so you can find out who I am. And ColleenBiggs.net is where you're going to find everything about me, the community that I run, Leap for Ladies, as well as my coaching packages, how I coach, who I am. And so ColleenBiggs.net is the best way to do that. And the Lunch and Learn is just one of our networking events that we do. And because I love music, we do a lot of fun stuff. So it starts with dancing. Then we always teach on a powerful subject and motivate and inspire on that. And then we spin the wheel and our members give away prizes. And then we go into breakout rooms and we spotlight some women throughout the 90 minutes that we're together. So it truly is a time for us to come together, get to know each other, add some more, women to your tribe for you to surround yourself with. So this is the perfect episode for someone to say, yeah, I want to go meet some more people that are positive, that I can, surround myself with. Come meet us at the Lunch and Learn on November 3rd. And I know you'll feel at home for sure.
And yeah, so much fun. So I highly recommend it. And I've loved working with you over the last couple of years. And thank you so, so much for coming and giving your time and being on this show and sharing your wisdom with my audience. And is there any last minute message that you would like to leave with them?
Yeah, I would just say to everyone, if learning is beneath you, then leadership is beyond you. And we have the opportunity every day when we wake up to learn something new about ourselves, about other people. And that is really, it's having that knowledge and being kind to other people and realizing that everyone's coming from a different space and on a different journey, but love them anyway.
Powerful. You just gave me full body goosebumps. Thank you again so, so much. And thank you to my audience, as always, for tuning in, for listening, for downloading episodes, and for sharing them with people that you think can benefit from hearing the wisdom that is shared here at the Don't Wait for Your Wake Up Call podcast. If you're enjoying my content and someone that wants to step into being proactive in your health and learning more, I would love to invite you to join my membership community. There's a link in the show notes. For only $19.99 a month, you get access to all of my content, and there's a lot, as well as weekly calls that you can come and get your health questions answered. It's truly priceless. I'd love to see you join the community. Check out the link in the show notes.